Alright, welcome back guys, and today we are going to finish up the modeling and prep portion of the creature before we take it into the sculpting program. So it's time for everybody's favorite thing, UV unwrapping. As you see, I've continued the modeling here, so we left off with our creature body, and I've just added those cones for the teeth. We already did the eyes, and I've got a couple of shells up here. I've also separated them into layers just for ease of use, showing you guys how to unwrap them. So we can turn off the shell layer at any time, the eye layer I'm going to turn off, and the teeth layer I'm also going to turn off, so we're just dealing with the creature body. Okay, if this is the base of what you've done previously. So to UV unwrap it, first we want to turn a new material onto it. So you select the model, go ahead and right click, hold, and we're going to assign a new material. I usually go down to assign favorite material and just Lambert. There we go. Pops up. I'm going to name this checker underscore mat for material. Hit enter. And we're going to apply the little color board here to get a node attached to it. Wait, and yep. And then checker. Now, we can't see anything right now. You guys know that if you just press 6 on your keyboard, we can go ahead and take a look at the lovely modeling, what that has done for our UV checker. So the head actually didn't stretch out that horribly. We're trying to get checkerboards so they're nice and even, like that face has it, but obviously none of the rest of the body's going very well. And we can find out if we go up into our Edit UVs dropdown in our UV texture editor. We can pull that open. That came up on my second screen. 1 second. There we go. And it's really hard to see with this background texture. So the top of your screen, there's 2 little picture portraits, color and a kind of desaturated one. If you hover over that, it's dim image. If you click that, you can see it. If that's still too annoying for you to look at, the one right above that is just turn the image off. And I'm going to turn that off just for the ease of the video for you guys to see what I'm doing. These UVs are a mess. They're all overlapped, they're all over the place. If we tried to sculpt and bake out a normal map, this would not look well. It looked like a crumpled up piece of tissue paper that someone colored on. So what we are going to do is we're going to first off come out to our creature, and we're going to get it prepped to start cutting and unfolding. So to get it prepped, just come out so you're looking at it from the right hand side, go up to create UVs, planar mapping option box, and we're going to be projecting that from the X axis, and then just hit project. This is just a one-off, it's a throwaway projection. So as you see, it just went ahead and projected the UVs from the right hand side all the way through the body, so it's really stretched. If we open back up our texture editor, we see a picture of the body. Now that you can come into the top bar and use a little rotate selections to rotate that around. So that looks great. If we were just doing a side image, we could paint on that, make it look all pretty. We want to paint on the entire object, so this is just, if we click off this is just getting us a base to start with. And I'm going to kind of shrink down the UV editor so we can have it off to the side here while we're working. The way that you're going to be detaching things is we are going to right click, hold, and switch to edge mode. And you're going to be selecting edge rings and loops. So more edge loops than anything else, but occasionally you might need to select edge rings. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the arms off the body. The way I do that, I'm going to go ahead and switch myself to unshaded mode so you can see a little bit better what I'm selecting. I'm going to select around the arm where the armpit is. See, then we got that one, and then we got these guys. And I'm going to go up and do the same thing over here, just holding shift, select, 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 under his armpit, double click, and select in the front. I got those guys here. I'm going to come into the UV texture editor. I'm going to hold Shift, right click, and cut UVs. So those are cut now. If we take a look, it doesn't look like they've been cut. Okay, and that is because we need to go up to Window, and in our settings preferences, we need to go ahead and in our display, polygons, highlight border edges. I keep the edge widths around 2.7 or 3. We can do texture borders as well. In fact, I'm going to turn off border edges because that's where any holes in your geometry will be. You shouldn't have any on this model. Texture borders, we'll hit save on that. Come back around. Let's go to object mode, select that guy. Doesn't look like that took. Let's go back into our setting preferences and preferences. And our polygons, border edges. Well, one second here, let me select some UVs here. Go into my move shell mode. Yeah, those are definitely cut apart. And you can place these anywhere you really want to. So again, that was right click, you go to UVs. Then you just move shell mode, it's up at the very top. And if you click on something that's cut apart from the body, we can move that here. So because our display, or at least mine on this computer, is giving me a little hassle, I'm going to select the object, go up to Display, Polygons, and Custom Polygon Display. And we're going to make sure Texture Border is on there. So Texture Border, Apply. Now you can see it. That only goes for this model. So when we get to the teeth, we're going to have to do the same thing. But that was Display, Polygons, Custom Polygon Display, and then just turning on the texture borders. You can turn off the border edges. We may not need to see that, but I like to keep it on anyway. Alright, so we've cut that area. Now we're going to cut the feet off. Now the feet, I like to come around here to where you see these stars are. That's a good place to cut. There's not going to be a whole lot of stretching going on there. So I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to select these faces, or these edges, all the way around here. Double clicking to see if that went around. Hit F so we're focused in. Excellent. To finish up the cut, let's see here. We just come into the UV texture editor, hold Shift, right click over where those red lines are. You can hit F there to focus in, but they're right there. So Shift, right click, cut UVs. And let's finish the cut on this arm by selecting the edge right where the armpit starts to be cut away from the body. Head all the way down on that line to where the wrist is cut off. Hold Shift and double click. You'll get a line that goes all the way up through the arm. Same thing there is head back into our UV texture editor, Shift, right click, cut UVs. And that's looking good so far. So you want to repeat this for all the legs. So we will really quickly here come in. Don't know how that got switched to face. This computer's been giving me a little issue here. It might be the recording software giving us an issue. Okay, and we'll come back up here, come all the way down on the wrist, double click. You can make all the cuts you want before you come into the UV texture editor and cut UVs, but I recommend you do them one at a time because it just is horrible when you select all these edges and then all of a sudden your computer glitches or you make a slip with the mouse and you lose your entire selection. Or Maya crashes for some reason and again you lose your entire selection. That's just a horrible waste of time. So we'll come back in. I'm not going to cut the tail off, but I am going to cut around his leg here where it attaches. And let's see here. And always being symmetrical, I'm going to come back around the same edges on this leg. I'm going to cut. And come back all the way around. Make sure I'm only getting the edges that I want. And same thing on this foot is we're going to cut the same kind of technique that we did on the back or the front paws. Okay, good. These guys made this creature enough times here that know where the best edge flow for cutting these open are. So then we're going to come back down on the inside of the leg, select that, and there we go. And this guy, now if we go ahead and try to do this, the holding shift and double clicking, what we're going to get is we're going to get the loop repeated through the body. So if that happens for you, all you have to do is hold control and unselect those guys. Okay, we want to make a cut now, so we'll just come back into the UV editor. Doesn't matter where you are really, but you can hold shift, right click, and cut UVs, and see those become thick lines. So those are ready to be pulled apart. Okay, so the arms and legs are there. Let's go ahead and cut the head off the body. So we'll just come around to the back edge here. You may have to get in on that crest a little bit. You can double click and that should go to the pointed stars. Again, remember those aren't going to move that much when we're animating it, so it's okay to make a seam there. And just cut right around his head there. Same thing, UV texture editor, shift, right click, and cut UVs. For the time being, we're going to leave the head alone a little bit there, and we're going to cut through the belly of the object. Depends on where you want this animation, where you're going to be seeing the most of the body. So you want to put the cut on the other side. That's why we put the cut on the inside of the legs. Very rarely are going to be inside, looking out from the creature. Maybe if he has, bear hug. But you kind of want to hide the seams in areas that people aren't going to be really looking at. So if this was a third-person tactical and you were looking down, you'd mostly be seeing it from this angle. Very rarely are you going to be seeing it standing above you. So to cut the body, we're going to go down that center line of the body. Come up here, select that edge. We're going to head all the way down to the end of the tail. And then we're going to zoom in there and get those last couple of edges that go to the tail. And then because the tail is a special case, I'm going to try to get the best angle there for it. See, it's going to want to peel out, but we need to give it a little bit of room to do that. So on the tail, we're going to have to cut 1, 2, 3 out that side, and 1, 2, 3 out that side. That'll let the mesh pull apart a little bit and give us some relaxed UVs that aren't going to be stretched or too out of shape. So let's go back into the UV texture editor, shift, right click, cut UVs. And let's take a look at how we're doing so far. So we're going to leave the feet for a little bit, and we're going to leave the head for a little bit. But I am going to come in here. I'm going to right click, switch to UVs. I'm going to switch to my move UV shell, and I'm going to start moving these apart. And these feet can go pretty much where they want to go. I'm going to move the arms up here. Move my legs up here as well. And I'm going to move the body out, and the head I'm going to move way out here. So we're going to be doing what's called pelting. So to get out of the move UV shell, you do not want to be in that tool. It can cause some crashing. So what I'm going to do is head up here to save scene as. I'm going to save this as creature underscore UVs. All right. So to get out of the move UV shell, just press Q. That gets us to our normal pointer. You want to do a drag box around the entire body. We'll start with the body. And we'll head up to the symbol that's to the immediate right of the move UV shell. Kind of looks like that Tetris block with a little mouse symbol. That's our smooth UV tool. So when you open that up, on the screen you get this unfold and relax. And what we're going to do is left click the unfold and just left click and drag to the right a little bit. Just unfold that. And then we're going to relax it a little bit. And we're going to unfold that. You may have to unfold it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then relax. And we're trying to get this so it's nice and opened up. And let's just keep unfolding it and relaxing it. You have to relax it a lot. And then unfold it, relax it. And it's not really liking to move. So if we head up to our tools and go to our UV smudge tool, we can just click and start trying to peel pieces of this apart. And let's take a look and see what exactly is twisting up in here. Okay, so if we head back to our UV tools and unfold that, unfold, looks like what's happening is don't quite have a good cut coming up. That should be peeling pretty well. But what we can do is come in here and we can cut down the side to the body. That might give us a little bit better stretch. So we'll switch back to our edge mode, go back and through the bottom line, let's seal that up a little bit. So shift, select it, and you can actually hold shift and just grab those on the end. Doesn't really matter at that point. Go back to your UV texture editor, shift, right click, move and sew UVs. And minimize that. Now let's come around to the side. Let's cut through the side. So that's going to cut up through the legs, and then hold shift, legs through the arm, and right there would be a good place to cut it. Come all the way around there, leg to leg, and then we have the legs going all the way around. So oops. Try that again. We don't want to cut down the legs. We just want to cut across the body. Let's try that again. Okay, UV texture editor, shift, right click, cut UVs. Switch ourselves to UV mode, and let's go ahead and UV shell, pull those apart. Hit Q. Let's do our unfold. There we go, that's starting to look better. Just a little at a time. Okay, these guys, Probably going to be a little bit easier to unfold. So relax. And if you get yourself stuck in a corner where it's just not coming unfolding and relaxing, you can go back up to your tool, your UV smudge tool, and you can kind of smudge these out from each other. If you ever need to relax or move the brush size, you can hold B, left click, and you can shrink that brush down. There you go. Head back into our smudge, we'll unfold. There we go, that's starting to unfold a little bit better. Now there is a Polygons unfold you can try. Doesn't really work the best, as you can just see. But if you go up to Polygons and unfold, you can pin the UV border, or you can pin the UVs. Let's see, we'll apply that, apply. And weight solver towards that. It's not really going too far forward. So occasionally what can happen is that, there we go. So it tries its best, not the best algorithm for it, but that can get you into a place where your unfold and relax tool may work a little bit better. So almost going there. Okay, unfold. Let's do it much better. There we go. That's getting there. So that worked a little bit. Some of the best things that we can do then at that point is we can come back into edge mode, and let's go ahead and just, oops, hit Q to get out of the tool. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be on that side. Let's see. So let's go ahead and select these guys. Looks good, and let's see. Come back into our 3D view. And we're going to select one side of this, and we're going to try to sew it up a little bit. So select all those edges, shift, right click in the UV editor, go move and sew UVs, and let's head back to our UVs, select them all, and unfold, relax a little bit. Unfold, and relax. There we go. Sometimes takes a while for the algorithm to work. You just have to keep unfolding, relax a little bit, give it some more room so it can work, and then unfold. Now to see what this looks like, I'm going to hit 6 on our keyboard. This got really tiny, so we're going to hit Q, then we're going to hit R, and we're going to scale that up. And we can see, we scale it up and then move it so it's not over all the other UVs. Their UVs are kind of stretching when they get up here, and they're getting really kind of thin as they're going down. So we'll come into our tool and go to our UV smudge tool. So we're just moving these in a little bit, and these ones on the top we're moving out. And then polygons we're going to unfold. There we go. Relax just a little bit and then unfold. That's a lot more even flow. They're still cramped down around the tail, but we're already half an hour into this, so we're gonna move on. UVs you can do for hours and hours and hours until you get them perfect. But I'm going to do 2 of the legs. We'll do 1 of the feet to show you how to do it, and the head. And then for you guys, your work time will be completing the other 3 legs and feet, and then just modifying some more of it. So the leg, easiest leg to get to is we'll grab one of those legs, we'll unfold, and just like that, that's pretty much where you want it. I'm going to shrink the torso down. Oops. Grab that middle line, shrink that torso down. And I'm going to come out into our attributes editor. We're going to go all the way to the side. We're getting some commands. So edit, delete all by type history. And then if we go to object mode, select our guy, our checker material. Let's go into our color. And then we're going to go into our UV coordinates. Hit that little box. And we're going to go to repeat UV 15 by 15. It's a little high, so let's do 8 by 8. Works. Yeah. Alright. So bring back up our UV texture editor. I'm going to grab all the UVs here, and we're just going to scale them all up uniformly. Just to where, there we go. We can see the UVs a little bit better. So the same thing on this guy, the shoulder needs to come out a little bit more. So we will just hit B, I'm sorry, tool, UV smudge tool. And let's get his size there. There we go. Okay. So we will have to select all those UVs again. Tool, UV smudge tool, and we're just going to smudge out his shoulder here a little bit. Then we're going to go to our unfold, and we're going to unfold that. There you go. And we're going to relax it just a little bit, unfold it. Okay. Do the same thing to W and move this guy off to the side. See, it's a little bit smaller, so well, real quick, we'll just do these rest of the legs, so you guys do on that. I'm going to pause the video. This shouldn't be too hard. Remember, just go ahead and unfold and relax and get it the best you can. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, that was just a couple of minutes. We've smudged them and got them pretty well equal. His shoulder is going to be a little bit larger on the texture area than really they should be. But in the sake of time, let's move on to the feet. So I'm going to switch back to my unshaded modes just so I can show you how we're going to cut these open. So the feet are going to be fairly easy to do. We're going to cut them into a couple of patches. So we'll switch to our edge mode, and we're going to cut around the entire center of the foot. Now the feet are very rarely looked at that closely, so by just flattening these out, it should be fine. And then the nails, we're going to cut around the nails. Control Z when you make a mistake, but even though it doesn't look like anything got selected. So we'll cut around the nails, and then to flatten them out, we're going to cut from the nail to the tip. And that'll allow us to peel these apart. The nails are pretty much going to be a solid color, maybe some grime around them, but they're not a real big focal point, and it's okay if they're a solid color. Most people expect like talons and claws to be one single color. When that's all selected, we're going to go ahead and just cut those UVs. And remember, you're going to do this yourself for the three times. Let's go ahead, switch ourselves back to UV. Let's get our mode here, and then just unfolding that and relaxing it. Maybe hitting R, scaling it up. Grab our tool, our smudge tool, and smudge this out just a little bit. There we go. That's going to relax a lot better. So there's that bottom portion. It's a W. And oops. Move to shell. Move that out, and same thing, unfold, and then we're going to relax it to try to peel it apart, then unfold it. Hit R, we're going to scale it up. And maybe go into our smudge tool and kind of try to pull these out and away from each other. The tool, let's see, smudge tool. Obviously this toe's not really playing nicely with us, so let's stretch him out so he kind of looks like the toe form. And we'll unfold that. All else fails, sometimes you'll have to go down here with the tool, either the smudge tool at a very low kind of single and just start peeling stuff apart. And immediately wants to go back to crossing over. Alright, so we'll try unfolding that by itself. No. Oops. That went too far. There we go. We're starting to get a little bit better leeway there. Okay. So this guy, we'll head back in and we'll take the nails and move them. Okay. And those guys shouldn't take more than a single unfold to pop into existence. And let's take a look and see. Checkerboard's doing pretty well. So I want you to do that for the rest of the feet. We'll pause and come right back. Okay, so we've got the feet done, got the body done, got the arms done. Just need to get this head done. So the head's pretty well divided. We want to go ahead and see. Let's see what just a normal relax does for that. So let's go to UVs and unfold that. It's turning out not as bad as I thought it would be. So let's go ahead and relax that down some more. And let's go to our tool, our smudge tool. Definitely want to size that up a bit. So let's get the crown of the head peeled out a little bit. Maybe move these guys here out a little bit. Go back to our relax. Unfold. Relax it just a bit. Unfold it. It's coming along. Let's give it a couple of cuts just to let it relax some more. So we're going to go to F10 and we're going to cut right through where the crest starts to where it ends. Okay. And shift, cut UVs. Let's go to our UVs now and go to unfold and let's see what that gives us. Relax it just a bit, unfold it. Relax it a bunch and unfold it and let's see how that looks. And let's go to relax on that and then unfold on that. Let's unfold that again. Relax on that and then unfold on that. Scale that up a bit more. So we're having some little stretching issues going on, and that's going to be about right. Let's go to our smudge tool. Start smudging that nose out and these eyes out a bit. Doing a little Picasso work here. Let's get that, and this chin. Alright, because remember this horn is a fairly large section of the head, so. Alright, so that's stretching, but let's go back and then just unfold again. Relax, and then unfold. That's pretty good. Good enough for us right now. So the body is pretty much done. What we've got to do, hit Q to get out of your tool. We're going to select all of the UVs. We're going to come into Polygons. We're going to go to Layout and Option Box. We're going to go to Single or Multiple Objects, Non-Overlapping. Prescale it to the world. And then we are going to rotate. Let's do free rotation because we're painting this in Mudbox, so we can rotate this pretty much anywhere we want. We want to get it all fit as well as possible into that box. The shell spacing, definitely go ahead and make that into a 2048 map. Oops. And it always, at least on mine, tends to head on back. There it is. So free rotation, 2048 map, uniform, prescaling it to the world, hit apply. Let's take a look here and see what we've got. Did a pretty good job. Not the worst I've seen. We can go ahead and give it a little apply again, and again, and again, until we get something that's pretty much what we want to see. Alright, so we've got this map going. The shells will probably be a second map, but we can fit the eyeballs and the teeth into this. So let's go ahead. Go back to F8 object mode. And we're going to open up our channel box. We're going to hide the beast layer. Oops. Somehow he came out. We're going to add him, add selected object. Notice that I'm on polysurface 8, so I'm actually going to rename that beast. I'm going to edit, delete all by type history. There we go. And I'm going to open up the teeth layer and then hide the beast body layer. So the teeth layer, there we go. So like I said, they were just little cones. For these guys, really, we're just going to be cutting up one side of them and then unfolding them. So it's not a huge amount of work, but we are going to go ahead and right-click and assign existing material, our checker mat. Hit F5. For these guys here, we've got all these little teeth sections. That's just how they came out. So we're going to do the same thing. Is we're going to start it with create UVs, planar mapping. Since we've already set it to X, we can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and switch yourself to edge mode, and let's just double click, hold shift, keep double clicking up the center of each of these teeth. Easier way than this would be if you made your first tooth and UV'd it while you were creating it. You wouldn't have to do all these teeth at the same time. They'd already have UVs on it. So when you're creating, sometimes you just want to UV as you go. It'll save you time on the back end. When you're cleaning everything up, let's see. And I'm just randomly going through and saying which one of these is the center line for the teeth. They're twisting as they go back. Oops. Okay, and shift, right click, cut UVs. And then we're going to go to our UVs itself. Grab shell mode, grab one, and then just unfold. And really, right off the bat there, you can see that that unfold pretty much did its job. So, I mean, you can be a little bit more exact if you really want to. There are some other tools there if you really want to go through and kind of smooth them out. Smooth UV tool is what we are using most often. So that one then just unfolds, relax, unfold. Alright, so we can do these for each one of these teeth. You can do a layout on that. And then for all these guys, we can come out here to unfold. And it'll unfold them. Let's see here. Polygons are probably going to relax all of them. Relax all of them. Unfold all of them again. And we've got these guys over here. Go ahead and select them all. Do our polygons layout again. And these ones, we're just doing a really quick relax and unfold session. We don't have to necessarily do them one at a time. And the teeth are pretty much going to all be the same whitish color. So, okay. So we're going to come through here. We're going to go in. There we go. To the eyes this time. Let's get the eye layer. Turn off the teeth layer. So there are the eyes. We'll assign the same one. We'll assign the existing material checker matte. And these guys we can see from right here. They don't do a lot. But if we come into F11 and grab these faces, and then we do create UVs, we're going to do a planar mapping, option box, and best plane, and do apply on that. So there's one of the eyes. Do the same thing for the other eye. Grab them. Then we want to switch to UVs. Grab them both. Polygons, and we're going to unfold. Polygons relax. Polygons unfold. Oops, I like that. First unfold better. Or you can go ahead and select one and use our tool and just do a real quick unfold right there. A little relax there, and then a little unfold. The tool is going to be a little bit more precise for you. The automatic can get a little touchy. It just depends on how much time you're willing to spend on it. Alright, so those guys are ready to go. We're going to turn on the beast body and the beast teeth. Go into our UV texture editor. And we want to select everything all at once. And then head in here to UVs and select everything again in the UV texture editor. Oops, hit Q so you're not in a tool. And come up to polygons and do layout. So as we can see, these have scaled everything pretty well. Let's do layout again. See if we can't get a little bit better. All right, now I'm going to find the eyes. Let's see where they put the eyes. There's one of them, so let's head on over to move shell. Let's move him down there, and there's the other one. So Q, I'm going to select those eyes, and I'm going to hit R, and I'm going to scale them up, because I want a lot of detail in the eyes. People look at the eyes of things a lot, and so you want to have as much texture resolution as you can in them. There you go. And then I'm going to switch to shell and drag this guy over here. Okay, the rest of these have just as much, and it looks like we're hitting a little bit outside there. So let's go through, select everything again, except for the eyes. Alright, and let's do a layout. Getting really close to the edge, so let's take a look at our layout and take a look and see why that's happening. Okay, so I've got a 2048 percentage on the space. Let's go a little bit higher there and apply. There we go. Apply again. So those feet are coming pretty close. You're always going to have to make hand adjustments, and that's okay. We're coming almost to the end, so stick around there. We're just going to move these a little bit up and a little bit to the side. This foot can come down here a little bit. This foot can definitely come over. And we don't want any sort of seams appearing on our creature. So we need to be as far away from those edges as we possibly can. Without having something too far overlapped. And don't be afraid to just totally change around where these feet were going. They can go down here with legs, and these top feet can go up here. And what might be better is if we select everything and do a quick layout, testing it off for maybe a 1024 percentage is going to be a little bit better. Yeah. So we'll just continue to do that by hand. I'll pause and be right back. Great. All right, so we are back, and the last thing that we do need to finish up is the separate map for the shells, in case you did them. So we can, at this point, head on back here to object mode. Here's our guy. If we wanted to paint him in Photoshop, you can go Polygons, UV Snapshot, just like the character design course. Like I said, we'll be painting him in Mudbox, so you don't really need to worry about that. That's just a different way you can paint him. The last thing is just the beast shells. Let's turn off all the other layers so we just have to deal with them. Select them all. Favorite existing material, checker mat. And you can see that they're not the best UV out there. So for these guys, let's come in here and do a create UV, planar mapping, bounding box from the Z-axis. Let's try that. There you go. So for these particular guys, we can go to F10, and I'm going to do one first off. So I'm going to cut all the way up the backside. And we'll hit F5 so you can see a little bit better. So we're just cutting off that back interior plate. There we go. So in our UV texture editor, again for this guy, is we're going to shift, right click, cut UVs, switch ourselves to UV. I'm going to grab all of these guys. We're just going to do a real quick layout. Not the best layout in the world, but okay. Let's go to shell and start moving these guys around. This guy. Alright, so something happened here. And that's okay, as we can always go ahead, create UVs, planar mapping. Let's do that for the best plane. Apply. And sometimes things just don't like what we're trying to do on them. So, and again, just head on up. Start cutting these guys. No, it's a little boring. A lot of pauses in here, but it's UVing. Cut UVs. Let's head into UVs there. This time I'm going to just hold Control and right click and go to shell. It's a different way to move them. And that is so bizarre why that is not cutting. Let's try that again. Cut UVs. Alright, well, something obviously went wrong. Let's go ahead and edit mesh, do a merge. Nope, don't have non-manifold geometry. So let's hit F8. Let's try cutting the other side of it. Let's see. Nope, nothing wrong on that one. Let's go ahead. Go up to F8. Remember, we go to our display, Polygons, custom polygon display. And let's apply there. No, we cut it. Let's see. Maybe I didn't get an edge all the way around there. Oops. Yeah, looks like I did. Let's go to UVs. There we go. Weirdest thing in the world, but okay. And for that one, we just need to unfold a little bit and then relax, then unfold. And when it starts doing that, the best thing to do, grab both of these guys. We're going to flip them once. Grab this guy. Flip him once. Now let's take a look and see. Yeah, now he unfolds better. So same thing with the teeth. Sometimes you just need to flip them. And unfold. Relax. Oops. Let's flip these guys back and unfold. Yeah. Let's see on 6 how we're looking. Looks fine to me. So we'll rotate that up for this guy. Rotate him this way. And go ahead and save your file. Save scene. We'll switch to object mode. Now, a good easy way here, let me move these to the side so you can see a little bit better at what's going to be happening next, is in object mode, all these guys who are just kind of drifting around, they're still in one piece. If we select our original shell and we shift select the next one in line, we can go up here to our mesh transfer attributes option box. We want to make sure we're not affecting the vertex position or the normal. The UV sets, we want to do current. Sample space is going to be in components. Mirroring, we don't need to do any mirroring on that. No flipping UVs. Let's go ahead and hit apply. And see how all of a sudden that UV disappeared? It's because it's mapped to our UV that we just did. So the teeth, we could have done the same thing with the teeth. So hold shift again and select the next one and apply. And the next one and apply. Next one and apply. Next one and apply. So these are all ready to be laid out. This one, he's going to be probably a 512. We might do a 1024 map. Let's try 1024 and see what that gives us. Apply. So it's wanting to map everything out into the same thing. So let's Control Z that. Select all these guys, edit, delete. Let's do a delete all by type history. And let's apply that. There we go. That looks a lot better. So we're still getting some border edge squeamishness going on. So let's try a 512. And let's see here. And since I'm not liking exactly that these are going straight out to the edge, I'm going to scale them just a touch. Just one little instance of the scale. So they're completely in there. All right. So now we are ready to go ahead, save our scene, open up all these guys. All right. Let's select the entire body and all the shells and everything we have, and let's right click and we're going to assign the existing material Lambert 1 back onto it. Okay, and he is ready to go. Just want to do one last delete all by type history, and then you are ready to file, send to Mudbox, send this new scene. All right, and that's where we're going to pick up in the next lessons.